So today was my first day working with the DJI Phantom 2 with the new ZenMouse H3-3D gimbal, which I am absolutely astonished at the ability of creating stable footage. This was my very first time ever using it, and it was a windy day, as you'll have the shots in a minute, but I've done no image stabilization at all to the video footage caught here, and I'm absolutely blown away. Here is really banking hard left and right, and just amazing how well it's able to keep the camera level and steady. With I've never used this before. This is my very first time ever using it, and absolutely amazing. And certainly, what I would say is it's blimming scary using this, especially in a city when you have never used it before, and there's a wind and you hear the motors trying to kind of fight against the breezes. Oh, it is scary. It's heart in mouth, especially because if it's your £1,000 worth of gear. The Phantom and the gimbal was about £700, and then I've got the GoPro Hero 3 Black Plus Edition, which is about another £300 in there. And when it's your kit flying around, it's pretty scary putting it too high. So this was the maximum height that I went up to on my first flight, and I get a bit nervous on this one. So here's some more of the footage, and just little kind of ideas of what went good and what went totally wrong with my very first day using the DJI gimbal. DJI and gimbal, that's what I meant to say. So this first bit that I tried, it just went totally off to the left. This is again a very windy location. You can see me at the bottom right there, just kind of looking at the computer going, why is it flying way up the side? It's like, okay, bad move, let's ditch it. And I lost a little bubble thing that goes into that bit. So fortunately that just sticks back.
That didn't work. I think I didn't get all GPS sorted. So we'll try you again.
So I think that's exactly what happened, is that I just didn't check or wait long enough for it to get the GPS connection. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the sound out. All it is some buzzing like about bees. So it's quite cool how you can take your hand completely off the controller and it will pretty much stay in the same place. I also found that there's a button on the back of the controller, which I didn't know, which controls the tilt of the actual gimbal as well. So I can get the camera to point up or like straight forward or down a little bit. So here, again, this was unbelievably windy, but yet it just gives such smooth footage, which is a real testament to both the Phantom and the gimbal together. And this is right in a coastal part of Edinburgh, where there's this kind of building that's being built, or it has been built, and we're renting out. We rent out a couple of flats there, and just try to get some cool footage. The only thing is, the quadcopter is so small that flying it too far away from yourself, you really cannot tell where it is. You can get this thing called a fat shark, which is effectively goggles that you put in your head, and you can see from the thing inside your, you can actually see the view of the camera like in real time. But I haven't bought that yet. I just thought, look, let's just get this, see if it works before we start spending any more money on this stuff. So once you start flying it forward, you lose all kind of perspective of, is it close to the building? Is it far away from the building? So if you're doing it purely just with eyesight alone, you end up just kind of not flying very far away from yourself whatsoever. So there, found the button that points me up and down. And again, if you have the Phantom too far away, putting the camera up and down or straight and down, you can't tell because it's just a tiny dot. So you need to have very good eyesight. So here again, it's effectively, I'm just standing there and it's like, you can see the little, my clothes are blowing around in the wind, but it's able to hold itself very well. So I was pretty darn impressed about this. And also the speed that you can get whenever you do fly forward. Also, I think as it was flying forward, it was also slightly losing height as well. So I think whenever you do fly fast forward, you also have to add a little bit of up throttle so that it doesn't kind of go really fast forward and then crash into the ground. The other thing is, see when you get really high, whenever you press down throttle for it to come back down, it seems to take forever. So it can go up really fast, but coming down, you're just thinking, my goodness, what if the batteries run out? And I just think that was really cool. You can see the actual amount of vibration on the left. So that's the actual, the kind of landing gear of the Phantom, but yet there's so much vibration going on there, but the actual video footage is completely stable. And again, this is me not adding any visualizing stabilization in post at all. This is just straight out the camera, so amazing. So yeah, I would definitely try and make. It's a bit scary going very high, certainly at the start, especially if you don't have the view from the Phantom itself. But certainly like lower down shots I think are very cool. Like that seemingly can get up to about 30 kilometers an hour, I think. So you could definitely have a cool little kind of car chase shot, I think, quite easily. But it's the fly over shots which I think just look very, very cool. So I definitely want to take this up to like a ski resort or up to even up to the dry ski slope in Edinburgh, and just try and get some flybys of guys going off the snowboard jump up there to see how it works. So here I was practicing, so you can always do the big flashy ones of where you go fast and whiz past, but I think it's quite cool practicing just having the skill to make it just kind of follow you. So it really is a case of hand-eye coordination, but it's like super thumb coordination. Then I was getting a bit close to the tree, got a little bit nervous. I was like, I need to get away from the tree. And a good point is that if you get a bit nervous or something like that, just press up throttle and fly up the way, because the majority of the time there's nothing in danger that's above the way, unless you've got like lampposts which are still above you and stuff. But I just thought it's so damn cool. There's a certain point of height which you get above, which it just instantly becomes that little bit cooler than any other kind of footage that you can get from anything else. So that was my first place, and I'll just show you the second place that I tried. So this was windy conditions, and I say it did a fantastic job. Although to me it was incredibly scary, but in terms of actually being able to get good, usable, recordable footage, it did an amazing job. And you can get the landings really very, very soft, so it really does just float just above the ground, and you can just, oh, there's definitely some cool shots of just going through like heather or something like that, I think. Okay, so here's the next shot of this kind of same location, but it's in this building. And what I didn't realise, this is an absolute wind tunnel, this area here. So these two buildings right beside the water just cause the wind just to rush up it. And it really doesn't show how windy it actually was with those trees there, but it was kind of gusty and blustery. Which definitely is scary. So here you can see the little shadow on the ground as well. So that's definitely something to kind of be careful of or think about whenever you are shooting. And also on this one I got some funny kind of vibration effect on the actual footage itself. So flying through here, I thought that definitely cool, and I flew forward and then I put the up throttle and we went up the way, but I slightly twisted it and it started turning around. I didn't mean that, but you can kind of see something weird going on. Now whenever you turn it, all of a sudden all your kind of controls are backwards, and I was getting a bit close to that building on the left and I was like, oh crap, getting a bit scared, don't want to be kind of going over there. Oh no, trying not to go there, having to move, okay, let's just stop moving and then go back to facing the same direction as myself, and then just do everything just normally like that. So I would say turning the actual Phantom around just really gets confusing, and that's for certainly not on your first day kind of shoot, I would say. But yeah, I would say just forward and back fly-throughs are awesome enough. But even whenever you are doing forward and back, you've really got to be careful of where your thumb is, because if it's just slightly off to the left or slightly off to the right, then you go back and you go a little bit off to the left and a little bit off to the right. And you can get pretty close to those buildings, which I wasn't really meaning to get too close to. But yeah, I was stuck. This truck here was parked right in the way, so I couldn't squeeze past that truck, so I was effectively stuck there. So I thought, good time to practice flying. Also, yeah, so you can see the rotors quite a bit. I think the tip is, if you want cool footage, is to fly backwards, and therefore the rotors don't get in the shot whatsoever. At the same time, you can shoot at 4K or 2.7K, or as I do, I shoot in 1080 resolution, and then I can easily crop it down to 720, and you can just go for a cropping, or even just like a minor, like expand the image up by about 12%, and then just drop the actual image, or just kind of move the image up a little bit, so that you're just seeing the bottom part of the video file rather than the top part. But the landing as well, just so easy. Again, so I went back to the place which I went this morning. I thought, let's see if I'm a little bit braver now, and let's go a little bit higher. So again, whenever I turned it on, it kind of, this one was just constantly slightly going a bit forward, and it's like, what is going on? So I think I need to definitely work on maybe the compass calibration, because so far I've had to do a compass calibration every time I've turned it on. It's just like not letting me not do it, and it just kept on slightly just gliding forward here. So I was like, damn it, I need to figure that out. I think this area has got a lot of metal, a lot of buildings, and a lot of stuff which could be potentially screwing up the actual compass calibration, and that's why it's requiring me to do it repeatedly at the moment, I think, because I haven't done it in a big park at this point yet. But again, so at this time I thought, okay, maybe it's not quite so windy, but it's just slight breezes. Just all of a sudden you become so sensitive to it. You just kind of go, oh my god, this wind is totally going to destroy it. And it looks like I'm going super slow here, but I think I was just trying to control it. So I thought, let's see what it's like if we go up the way. Let's see how this looks. So the other thing is, see, once you get above the buildings, there's a bit more of a wind up there as well, but there's this point just here where everything just gets cool. Like over to the right, you can see the castle and everything. Oh, there's that. It's just that slightly getting higher than the roofs, I think, is very, very cool. And just even the cars look like they're going in slow motion. It's like micro machines kind of stuff. And also just think that's what seagulls and pigeons see every day. Damn, that's cool. I'd love to be a pigeon.
So just now I'm going to test out the DJI Phantom 2 with the gimbal, the H3-3D version, and I'm going to see how well it copes in what is pretty darn windy situation. You can see by the trees, okay, the trees aren't moving just now, but probably you can hear by the wind on the actual GoPro itself that it's a bit breezy. So this is to see how stable the GoPro can, or the helicopter can actually stay. So I'm just going to get you set up on a nice open area, a little park area in Edinburgh called the Bruntsfield Links.
So again, I'm just going to take the sound down again. So there's definitely some kind of weird kind of almost a strobing effect going on, but yeah, I was pretty impressed this time. So without even holding it, it just kind of moves around, but that is just because of the wind, I think, at this time. And the button at the back of the remote, that's what controls whether it goes up or down the actual gimbal itself, so that's a separate part. So I want to see what it'd be looking like if we went up to, like, say, the height of that church that's just behind me there. So and it's just a case of up we go, and it's so fast going up, it really is. And this is where, look at just how the horizon just changes like that. I think that is really, really cool. So up to about there, that was as brave as I was going to go, just because there are trees around me, and I thought if the wind takes it and all of a sudden it's in those trees, they are very big trees, I'm not going to be able to go and rescue it. I should have done a little loop round though, because you can see the castle and everything over to the right there. So that's very cool. So this is at Bruntsfield Links, which is a little place if you want to have a pitch and putt and a pint. And so there's some people with their golf clubs and golf balls out, which I was a little bit nervous about, just in case a ball went flying towards the Phantom. But again, it's something which I think is very, very cool, is how you can have it so accurately close to the ground and yet at the same time just ping it straight up into the stratosphere. So here I'm trying to get it kind of close to me, but at the same time I'm still kind of crapping myself if the wind suddenly makes it batter into my head. So here I'm trying to just make it kind of look kind of cool that it's just near me and it flies over. So here, I think I did a little speed test here to see what it looks like close to the ground. So this is like fast forward, and it's like being a fighter pilot. So this is where I think the Fat Shark, I think they're called Fat Shark goggles, would be so very cool and so very handy. What I would say is that the new Phantom 2 Plus Vision Edition or something like that, the very new one, has got a camera which is pretty much as good as the GoPro, and I think the gimbal on it is spot on now. So I think if you don't have a GoPro already, I would say I've been highly advised by the guys that I bought it from at Marionville Models. Again, couldn't find it in any camera store in the UK, or if it was all from abroad. But Marionville Models, which is a place that sells kind of, if you want radio controlled cars or radio controlled boats or other types of helicopters, stuff like that, then that's the place where they had a whole bunch of these in. So I think they are the guy in there fixed it, made it up for me. So he attached the gimbal and he checked that it was all working right before I used it. So I was like, brilliant, that's a good service, I like that. So I'm definitely bigging them up and joining them on Facebook. But yeah, it's just very cool. Flying, like low level flying is very cool. High level flying is very cool for the view. And the other thing is you get quite a few looks from other people just kind of going, what the hell is that? And there's like some dad with his child looking at it going, that's amazing. And you really kind of wonder, are people like, yeah, this is cool, or like, oh my god, there's somebody stealing my privacy or some crap like that. But otherwise it's just something very cool. So I'm starting to use this in my work stuff for the property videos. No chance of flying this indoor. This is not an indoor thing, but certainly for like outside, if they've got a big kind of £1 million property that needs kind of a higher up view, or a fly into view, I think this is definitely where it's going to come in handy. It's going to be very, just add a good extra feature to the videos which I do for my work moving property. But yeah, there you go. So that was my first day trying out the DJI Phantom. And again, somebody with no experience can happily just guess it, and the Phantom and the H3-3D gimbal just work absolutely amazingly together. Highly recommend it. It was £700 for me. And well worth the money, and I'm going to make that back very quickly with the work that I'll get. So hope that helps. Cheers, bye bye.